trying to imagine. Cause the house is 2,800 square feet, something like that. Not quite three. And then we got chickens. We got a 40 by 40 garden on there. You still got room if you want to put another house. And then if that house was repositioned, you probably could get three houses, two maybe three houses that size on that lot, and still have a little bit of airborne room. So hey, kind of. Huh?
I might have to revisit it a little bit.
Yeah, just because when I saw, I was like, and then the first thing I thought about was the container home, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. But then when I see these, I was like, oh, babies.
Yeah. But I mean, not literally.
Like
those
one.
are those are bigger than the 800. I didn't really give a good example of 800 square foot.
Yeah, because I know that's pretty. This one.
Because the 800 would be 20 wide, 40 deep.
Yeah.
Stay in Orlando another day.
And I got a 40 by 40 garden.
Right. So you just double this
That's
way.
just yeah.
But if you line it up this way, like 4 on each side of the lot, depending upon how
They set up. Yeah. See, that's the
and then how the lot
the
is
weird. Yeah. Because if it's a wide lot, then you
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
so they kind of have their own little.
Yeah.
If it's one of those, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, corners are difficult sometimes though. People like corner lots, but
I might have to get a variance to have a guest house because it's 2 frontages. Once you
man, I remember that. Yeah. And the problem we have is people think that's an easement for some reason. Now they're just gonna park all on the grass, and I have to chase them off. Hey, what easement? You're like, and then you see how it's manicured. You know this one. You see the part that the city's supposed to be cutting, and you know that ain't right. This ain't the same. But this is interesting. This is interesting. Yeah.
How are you, sir? Good to see you.
Yeah. I like this. Here and there. City. Yeah, man, we should have left that. Really? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
didn't know until they started checking for it.
And then it was like, oh, refresh. Oh, I don't know, I keep envisioning that for over here, like the canopy, you know, that kind of thing, but that right there gonna kill it right there. Yeah, that's gonna kill it. Nowhere else you can kind of really pull that off.
They're taking some reviews too.
Yeah. So everything in the order, with the exception of the courthouses.
Yeah, courthouse I think is it's a police. I think courthouse or extension down Fairburn Road.
Really?
So they still have a chain, but they still have this. They started to do the courthouse thing.
Yeah. Man, I'm sure hoping for that. You know, when I first heard it, I was like, what? Oh man, that's gonna kill the dream right there. That's gonna kill the dream. So the other side, I would probably suspect if they did that level of inspection on the other side, veteran side, they probably find the same thing won't build.
Yeah. Everything was built out of wood, like that's why the cotton mill burned. Something else burned.
Yeah. Went to Thursday last week. Some friends of mine mother. And we was in this church in Eatonton, Georgia.
That's what Taisha was saying.
It had to be. I didn't get to ask, you know, because we was just kind of going. I didn't know that was a church till we kind of got there, and I had seen it before because we was going out there and do stuff.
You got, yeah.
That church got on. It's old Harriet Tubman probably went to. It's old, like really old, like that. But they kept it up. My man.
As soon as Keith sits down, I'll start. Good evening and welcome to the City of Douglasville Planning Commission meeting. I am Francisco Artley, the chairman of the Planning Commission. The other members of the Planning Commission are Keith Burnett, the vice chair, Natalie Fegan, Nathan Zachary, Ralph Bennett, and Mark Phan. The staff members are Miranda Jordan, staff attorney, Dana Gray, Community Development Director, Chelsea Tubbs, Planning and Zoning Administrator, and Camille Brown, Planner 1. There are a few protocol items I need to make you aware of before we start the meeting. Please listen closely on how tonight's meeting will be conducted. Keep your comments and presentation on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this commission to make its decision. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. You will receive a warning from the chair if you deviate from this requirement. A second deviation will result in a request for you to leave the meeting and the premises for the evening. Refrain from any applause or comments from the audience. Only one person will be talking at a time, and all comments will be made at the podium after the speaker has been recognized by the chair. Please direct all comments to the chair and the commission, not to the audience or the staff. Please do not applaud or react to speakers, speak from the audience, cheer, carry on a conversation with others in the audience, or disrupt the order of this meeting in any way. Be aware that these hearings are not a debate or an opportunity to ask questions which must be answered by any individual tonight, but are merely an opportunity to present information to the commission. Other than the applicant, no person may speak more than once. The applicant may reserve part of their speaking time as a rebuttal and may speak next and last and may use the entire 20 minutes allotted for the pro side of the application. Other than the applicant, no person may speak longer than 5 minutes. If you have a cell phone or any other electronic device, I ask that you either power them off or put them in silent mode. If anyone wishes to speak tonight, please fill out a form available on the table up front and hand it to the staff before approaching the podium. After the case is called, we will hear next from the staff regarding any relevant information to this case. The commission members will be free to ask questions at any time before the vote on a project. Following the applicant, anyone who wishes to speak for or against the project or just ask questions will have an opportunity to do so. The city ordinance restricts each side to a maximum of 20 minutes, or time may be waived at the discretion of the presiding official. If questions are raised, we may ask the applicant to speak again. Afterward, we will call for a motion and a second and have any necessary discussion regarding the item. Then we will vote to recommend approval or denial of the application. This commission is only a recommending body. The items will be heard by the mayor and council whether we recommend approval or recommend denial. All items will be heard by the city's mayor and council at their legislative meeting on Thursday, July 16, 2026, and then voted upon by them at their meeting on the following Monday, July 20th, 2026. The first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the June 2nd, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. Is there any need for discussion? Do I have a recommendation?
I recommend we approve the minutes from our June 2nd meeting.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The minutes of the June 2nd meeting are approved. Is there any old business? Nope. All right. New business. The first case is item 26-226. Hold a public hearing and consider a request to adopt a proposed ordinance to amend Article 3 of the Unified Development Ordinance to add a new subsection 3.08 and amend subsections 2.02.c and 8.01 for a new zoning classification. Staff will now present the item.
Good evening, Dana Gray, Community Development Director, 6758 Spring Street. Good evening, Commissioners. This is a proposal to add a new zoning classification to our UDO, Unified Development Ordinance. The zoning classification will be called MDR, Medium Density Residential. It is created to establish and provide smaller detached single-family cottage-style housing types within the city. There has been a shift in demographics and a desire for different types of housing, seniors, retirees, young professionals, and those that could be eligible for workforce housing, such as teachers, nurses, et cetera, are seeking more affordable options. MDR will provide more opportunities for affordable home ownership. This will help to address affordability and the missing middle. We have provided the standard, supplemental standards, and added architectural features that will ensure that the design of the homes will maintain a cottage feel of the area. Features that have been added and required are porches, decorative columns, railings, a choice of asphalt or metal roofs with neutral colors. Accessory structures will require the same material as the main dwelling. We will require a minimum of 1-car garage with a maximum of 2. During our housing study process, which will be reviewed by our mayor and council next week, the community had an opportunity to provide their feedback on desired housing types. The highest percentage that was requested was cottage homes and/or cottage-style clusters, as well as ADU, which are accessory dwelling units. In closing, this gives opportunities for affordable home ownership for seniors who can maintain their independence in a smaller detached unit, workforce housing for those who are eligible, young professionals who may not want a lot of house, might want a smaller house, a smaller lot, and retirees who want to downsize. So MDR, Middle Density Residential, will focus on the downtown area, New Horizon, as well as infill opportunities throughout the city. And
Okay.
that concludes.
And I guess since you're the applicant, you can just stand there. Are there any questions from the commission?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
So what makes this unique to what we currently already have? Is it square footage?
It's square footage. It's the size of the lot, which is a lot smaller now, 4,000 square foot. And then the minimum size for the home, 800 square feet with a maximum of 12.
Okay, so this is basically just more like
Almost like starter homes, I was thinking.
well, it's
but
really more
they're
like
cottage-
cluster homes.
Cluster.
It can be like cluster homes, and it can be on an individual lot, but just, you know, it can match what's around the downtown area. And if you go around the downtown area, there are actually smaller lots with a smaller home.
Yeah, so what's in place to, the infill is always the question, right? Because that's tough. You got a couple of normal size homes and they have a lot and they want to rezone to this and put 3 houses right in the middle of other houses. So what do we have in place to help with that? Because this is a good thing. This is a cool zoning. This is in all places all over Atlanta. I see it everywhere. So
Right.
what do we do about that?
So being that the minimum is, the minimum lot size is 4,000, you can go up a little bit bigger to meet what's around you. But at the same time, you'll have to provide the architectural feel of a cottage. So it'll give you the opportunity to fit within that. So instead of someone coming in and just putting in a a big house just randomly and changing the look of the neighborhood, this will kind of lock them into our cottage style.
Thank you.
No, maybe I misunderstood. I thought we were looking at that from another perspective, is the neighborhood already has larger houses. And then you've got a lot that somebody says, hey, we want to try this new thing. We're going to put, let's say it's a half-acre lot, and they want to put 4 of them on that half-acre lot in that community that has, 3,000 square foot homes. Is there any safeguarding in that? I thought that's what the question was on that.
See, my thing is, I thought this was just for the downtown area. Based on this, it's currently downtown. So as you get ready to answer Mr. Bennett's question, my question too is, what about other neighborhoods that are R2 or R3, and the developer wants to come in and just drop a bunch of little cottages in a subdivision that has $600,000 homes? Do they have to come before us to get it approved?
Yes.
They
'Cause
would
that'd
change-
be
it would
that'd
be
be
a
automatic
It would be a
rezoning.
rezoning.
Yep.
Yeah, because you're changing the
Zoning.
zoning to MDR for that lot,
Right.
or for the whole subdivision, or just that lot?
Well, you can't necessarily change for a whole subdivision. It's by parcel. So they would have to do it for all of the lots individually that they wanted to rezone.
But could you split the zoning within that? Say it's currently R3, or it's not R3, it's R2. Could you come in and say, I want to make this R3 and this half, what do we call them?
MDR.
MDR.
I mean, they probably wouldn't get it approved, but I guess you could, right?
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
saying
and
that.
it depends
It
too, if
happening.
something was zoned and approved per like a subdivision plat, for example. And typically you're gonna see those done as PUD or PRD. That's gonna be trickier to rezone for the applicant, because you would have to rezone basically for the whole subdivision, because it's zoned as a as one with the site plan requirement. If you're dealing with lots that are individually zoned R2, R3, R4, R5, then that would just be done per lot.
Now, my other question, and I'm sorry I cut you off, Mr. Bennett. What about subdivisions that have it in their homeowners' covenants that only one house per lot? And now you have somebody that comes in and just happens to buy a lot that hasn't been developed yet and says, I want to change it to MDR, but the subdivision, like I'm just saying, for instance, my subdivision, it's one house per lot. I don't want somebody to come in, because we do have a couple lots, to all of a sudden come here and say, okay, we want to change this to MDR, and then just start building a bunch of cottages in our neighborhood.
Well,
in most
then you're
cases,
dealing
you're-
with, at that point, you're dealing with a private property contract issue versus a zoning. You could rezone it, but it would be up to either an HOA or an affected property owner within that subdivision that could have a private right of action against that developer to stop that. But that wouldn't be something the city controls. The city can say, yeah, sure, you can do it, but if there's a private entity over here that says, no, you can't, that's a dispute between private property owners.
And then once again, those subdivisions might be zone PUD, and then you're stuck with PUD.
What questions do you have?
So I guess I'll make it easier. Are there any guardrails to this per se? Let's say this particular MDR is, we're going to restrict it to downtown, or we're going to restrict it to whatever, or can it be used anywhere there's property with potential for rezoning in the city?
It is potential. I mean, we are focusing on the downtown and New Horizon. It is possible. However, since we don't have MDR, a rezoning will be required. So at that point, we can really dig deep on what the proposal is and see if it will fit.
And further to that point, talking about like guardrails or restricted area, the design standards actually reference an MDR district. That would just be a map that council would adopt to say, this zoning classification only applies in this area. The example that we have of that currently is the town center mixed use. It is restricted to a very specific area, and there's that acreage requirement as well. So it puts those guardrails around where you could even be considered to rezone those properties. If that is the direction that council wants to move, then they would adopt an MDR district map.
I can't hear you.
Our neighborhood residential commercial district that we also adopted around the time of TCM is also confined to a map that council adopted, to Miranda's point.
Okay.
It has not been established yet for this, no.
No.
Okay.
All right. I don't know. I just see a can of worms opening up because, yeah, I could see that we need something like this. Would be interesting to have an MDR zoning district, but then I also know how many developers we have come before the board, and then pretty soon everybody wants to develop these little MDR communities or just start sticking 3 or 4 houses at one lot.
But it would have to be rezoned.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
we're adding the zoning. Everything is already zoned.
I know,
There's a
but that's
check-
what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's checks in place. for
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
So we're just adding a new,
Yeah, you're right. Like anyone could try zoning for anything.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what the
Right.
process is in place for. That we're not. I mean, you know, this is definitely a place that I feel like we need to go because other community around us are already doing this, and I've done mortgages on places like this already. So
City of Decatur has
that's where it was.
lots of folks have them. It's not-
Okay.
I was just, I didn't mean to poke the bear there, but I was just like
I mean,
trying to
it was just
flush it out. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it was a question I had, anyway, just kind of see guidelines. And then I just add one other question to the number of units per acre on that one. I think it says 8, and if I read correctly, I don't know, that was kind of much to me, just something to consider.
We can definitely review that again.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that we don't have an MDR, and if anybody wants to do it, they do have to rezone. So that is our strong guardrail.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this project, ask questions, or make other comments? Please come forward, tell us your name and address.
Hello, I'm Alex Popham, 8599 Estelle Street, longtime resident, Douglasville native, also a real estate developer. I would greatly support this measure. It would excite me to have it because I would start looking to Douglasville to do projects instead of elsewhere. I mostly do infill Atlanta, so it would be very exciting to see this come to fruition.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone else? Is there anyone who would like to speak other than in favor of this project? Please come forward and tell us your name and address. Is there any need for further discussion?
I'd like to ask the gentleman
Okay.
to step back up if you could.
Sir, if you'd like to come back up.
Just out of curiosity, you've done these before. What are some of the other areas of the city as far as restrictions and other guardrails that they have in place?
The minimum house size, I own a big tract of land on Estelle Street in downtown Douglasville, as well as Doris Road over behind Gables. Minimum house size has, over the last 10 years, I've not proceeded with developing. I'm not necessarily, the new R5 zoning is exciting for some of those, but this is also a new avenue that would create interest. House size, lot width, lot size, more density. It's up in R2, it's pretty aggressive at only 2 houses per acre. So to be able to cut that in half would be helpful.
Yeah, is there a limit to the number that, in totality, like this can only, you can only have no more than 50?
Each project kind of has its own challenges, topo, where the utilities are. It kind of depends on that. The projects I'm wanting to pursue in Douglasville aren't necessarily like a master community that you would see from a D.R. Horton or our firm. We do mostly boutique stuff. You can see our projects at Foxhall Resort in Douglas County. Hateville, we have 2 projects where we're building out 85 houses and multiple different projects throughout Atlanta and Decatur. Happy to share those with y'all after this meeting, but
Just one last question. Do they usually come with any kind of amenities?
the Foxhall Resort has the whole resort package. The Hateville project, we do have a clubhouse and a pool, but that's 58 lots or units on that one particular. On our 25 and less, we do not typically put a amenity. And I think on something like this, you can look at projects in Clarkson, Georgia, East Point College Park. The one someone mentioned in Decatur is on Commerce Drive. It doesn't have an amenity.
Okay, thank you.
25 houses or whatever.
Yeah,
And
right on,
the follow-up,
near Columbia, near the Theological Seminary.
yeah, I guess the follow-up to that would be the purpose statement here, and the memo background making this infill. You're not going to be, as far as number of units total, you're going to be limited by the land that's actually available, right? And so the infill purpose is kind of, it's limiting that from being a huge development necessarily in what we have in Douglasville as available lots.
Like, let me just give a little color to that. So, like, the development that I'm thinking about is inside of the city of Decatur. I know the developer personally, and he built, I'm pretty sure it was 5.
Yeah, 5 or 6.
Five or
I think
6.
initially they were for educators, but I don't know.
They opened it up, first of all, I don't know who they sold them to, but they sold them all out just like that. But they opened it up to City of Decatur employees first. They were spec, and they were like, they were cute little houses just like this, nice. They were, earth tone.
This indicator is going to go for $500,000.
Yeah. They were also accompanied with cool like financing options. So they were like, I think 300s and down in the city limits of Decatur, which is pretty untouchable other than a 1-bedroom condo, with a 700 HOA. And they had like 5 in one spot with a little, they didn't have any amenities. They just had a little mailbox, and it's just cool. It'd be something like we could do here easily.
And they, like the ones that, I don't know if they finished the ones at Foxhall. They were building them, but that's in county, and those are nice. I mean, it's a nice thing to have.
Yeah, it's just something we're missing.
Yeah.
And I have seen clusters, clusters of 3 or 4, and you really, depend upon the size, you can't really do our typical amenities that we do for a subdivision, but they had a central meeting area where they kind of had a fire pit and nice chairs and swings that people can congregate at, so.
So is there like a price point? Are you guys thinking that they will be, or are you just looking at just the clustered homes?
It just depends.
It depends,
That would be a private market.
Yeah.
I just kind of
concern.
The older and older I get, the smaller and smaller house I want. And that's all I'm saying.
But if it costs the same as a big house, and so, all right. Are there any other questions? Anything else? All right. Do I have a motion regarding this application?
I make a motion, oh God, I'll say the number, what is it? I make a motion to approve item 26-226.
Second.
Second, all right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes and the application is recommended for approval and will be heard by the mayor and city council at their legislative meeting on Thursday, July 16th, and then voted upon by them at their meeting on the following Monday, July 20th. Do we have any staff reports? No. Okay. Is there any further? All right. If there is no other business, I motion that we adjourn.